tracing question, and this is what the tracing question is, extra credit
Oh my God.
ones will look they'll be longer than this, because I think I have 14 blanks and they're each worth half a point. So notice as we go through, however, that I give you some checkpoints along the way to let you know, okay, I'm on the right path, or this is the way I'm supposed to go. So trace the drop of blood from the anus or external anal sphincter to the occipital lobe. We're talking about the brain here. It's the only thing I know that has an occipital lobe. So we start out with the external anal sphincter, and we're doing veins. From means we start out with veins. Okay, so don't make that mistake and go to arteries first. We're going back to the heart. So external anal sphincter. What carries blood away from the external anal sphincter?
Pudendal.
Inferior rectal.
Inferior rectal. Internal pudendal.
Internal iliac.
Internal iliac. Now, if you left one of these off, let's say you would put inferior rectal and then you went to internal iliac and then to external iliac. I would give you credit, doesn't, but people do it. I would give you credit for the internal iliac. I don't take away points. So just because you put a wrong answer, I won't subtract points from the ones you got right. Does that make sense? Okay, so I would give you credit for the internal iliac. It doesn't have to be on line 4. You could put it on line 2 and 3 and 4 be wrong. I would still give you credit for at least having internal iliac in there.
So a wrong answer in the length is the same.
Yes. Okay? So I don't subtract points from the ones you earn. You just don't earn anything for it. All right, so from the common iliac then, it's going to go into the inferior vena cava. And I typically put heart. Now there might be a situation where I want you to trace it through the heart, but I typically will put heart there. That means you don't have to go right atrium, left atrium, pulmonary veins, arteries, whatever. That's all taken care of, and now we're leaving the heart. And so, pardon? Yes, now we're arteries because we're leaving the heart. So we leave the heart via the ascending aorta, aortic arch, brachiocephalic trunk, so that tells you we're going right, okay? So now we have 2 ways of getting to the brain. Internal carotid arteries and vertebral arteries. Both will take us into the brain. Right?
Vertebral.
So
Straight shot. Because it's
here
the
we're
vertebral
looking at
basilar.
posterior communicating artery. What does that make you think? Posterior communicating is
Oh, so it's
connecting both of them. But I want you to go to the occipital lobe. If we go to the vertebrals, do we need to use the posterior communicating?
No.
No, we would just go vertebral, basilar, posterior cerebral, and you'd be there. So now we need to use the carotids because I put posterior communicating in there for you. All right?
So common
So
carotid,
brachiocephalic trunk to
common carotid,
common carotid,
internal carotid,
internal carotid,
vertebral,
and then how do we get to posterior communicating?
oh,
Middle cerebral.
oh, okay.
And then we take the posterior communicating to posterior cerebral, and we're at the cerebral lobe.
Will you have like an unlabeled?
I'll give you blank pages to put your own picture on. Remember I said to practice those line drawings? Yeah. Okay? Again, there will be 2 tracing ones for extra credit, so a total of 7 points. If they're a half a point each, and you can choose one or the other. There will be directions. If you don't choose for me, I will answer the first one. I'm not going to grade them both and give you credit for the one that has the most correct answers.
Damn.
So if you try them both and you don't mark which one you want me to grade, I'm just going to grade the first, I'm going to grade letter A. Okay? Got 5 minutes. Anybody have more questions?
Oh, I wanted to do another one of those.
Well, we can.
Okay,
Just
let's
don't
do
have
it.
one written up. Want to do another tracing question?
Sure.
Anybody have any other trace a drop of blood? Do you have ideas?
Your big toe.
Big toe to your
Top of the big toe or bottom of the big toe?
Oh,
Bottom.
Bottom?
to your right thumb.
To your pinky.
Okay. So we start off with big toe. We're on the bottom.
So,
Since we're on the bottom, that takes out dorsalis pedis and great saphenous.
Plantar.
Okay, because those deal with the top and the side. So the next one is going to be medial plantar vein.
do the
The
great,
medial plantar vein is going to bring into the,
great saphenous? No?
Nope.
No,
we're done with
Wait.
saphenous, we have to go
Okay.
deep veins.
oh, sorry.
Posterior tibial,
Go, Lisa.
posterior tibial is going to carry blood into
Popliteal?
popliteal. That will change name because it passes into the adductor magnus.
Femoral.
That will cross under the inguinal ligament and become not common yet, external.
Oh,
And
really?
then that will become common. Do you know how to spell? And then heart. Leave the heart through the aorta, through the arch first. And right thumb to brachiocephalic.
Subclavian.
Axillary.
Subclavian artery.
Axillary.
Axillary artery.
What did I say? Axillary.
Because that's how you spell it. Probably that's how you spell it.
And then right thumb is going to be
Brachial.
radial artery.
So,
She missed
And
it. She
then
missed
if I
it.
had another blank there, you can just leave it at that and say right thumb, or
It
if I have
stops
another
there
blank
and then
there,
you
what
have
would you
this.
put?
She missed it.
what about brachial?
Oh, you're right, forgot,
Yeah.
thank you.
Deep palmar,
I was like, oh, it jumped.
deep palmar,
Brachial artery,
Put brachial vein next to them.
and then radial artery,
Deep pul-
and then the palmar arch.
And then the digit.
Not taken to the other
And
side.
then, yeah.
Isn't the
Or I might just
Isn't
leave
it
it at
the
that,
owner?
and put, if there was a blank there, we digital, but, or I could just put right there.
Isn't it the owner?
But
Well,
we'd be
no,
done with it.
thumb is radial.
Okay.
Okay,
Radio
Am I
antenna,
looking in the? Okay.
right?
or the digital.
Palmar is pinky.
Oh,
So then that would have been
Okay.
the
Yeah.
When
superficial.
would you use cephalics? Like,
Okay, that would be drainage. So if I say drain a drop of blood from the back of the hand, then dorsal venous arch, or I might put dorsal venous arch there for you. If I say the back of the thumb, that tells you it's going to be cephalic and not basylic. Alright, so then you would go cephalic. You could stay cephalic all the way up to axillary, or you could cross through median cubital to basylic. So if I put one of my blank lines in there was median cubital, then you'd have to cross over to the other side.
does the arch not take it to the other side of the?
It may or may not, it just depends. I mean, it can only go one direction at a time. Okay? Yes?
Study of Josephson has a question about chemoreceptors. Did you see one on?
Yeah, so chemoreceptors and baroreceptors affecting blood pressure. There was a few slides in there that I deleted from what I modified and put up online. We'll deal with it when we get to respiratory. Yeah, so whenever your heart needs to have better circulation, if you have too much CO2 or too many hydrogen ions, that kind of stuff, but I won't have anything directly on that. And I took out the slides that dealt with all the factors on the endothelial capillaries and the nitrogen oxide we talked about with the penis. So, the one thing I did mention to the morning class, we didn't go over the pathologies of the heart. We talked a little bit about, perimeter valley and so on. But I did want to mention congestive heart failure. All right, congestive heart failure causes congestion, causes edema. when we talk about right-sided versus left-sided. So again, this is a matter of not memorizing, but figuring it out. If the left side of the heart is weak, then where does the blood come from that goes into the left side of the heart? Comes from the lungs. So it's going to back up into the left atrium. If the heart's not empty completely, and it's going to back up into the pulmonary veins. Then it's going to back up into the lungs, where we have the pulmonary capillaries. And that higher pressure is going to cause fluid to accumulate in the alveoli of the lungs, resulting in pulmonary edema. Now, it may keep backing up and result in right-sided congestive heart failure, or you could start out with right-sided congestive heart failure. So the ventricles,
Would that be pretty much that question for?
yeah. So the ventricle, the right ventricle, then, if it's not capable of keeping up with the inflow, it's going to back up into the right atrium, and that will back up into the superior and inferior vena cava, and then into the systemic capillaries, and you have swollen fingers and swollen ankles, and you have systemic edema. So just follow where the blood is coming from, and it's going to back up in the reverse order. So left-sided congestive heart failure results in pulmonary edema, fluid in the lungs. Right-sided congestive heart failure results in systemic edema, fluid in the interstitial tissues of the upper extremities and lower extremities. Okay? You can figure it out, but I just wanted to at least say it to you. All right, any other questions?